All right. Hello and welcome everybody to the REVN community stream for update 15.4. I'm Silas, the creative director at Ambitious Games.
And I'm Alistair, the community manager at Ambitious Games.
All right, so we got a good amount of new content coming out this week to share with you guys. So first we've got a new gun, and then we also have a new character helmet that'll be dropping this week.
Right on.
We also have some new lighting that is coming out in the lobby. It actually got a complete overhaul, some new particles, new lighting, some new atmospherics. It may change slightly from this work in progress screenshot before release, but overall, this is the direction we're going in. Much more atmospheric, a lot more neon light, and I think it's going to be a much appreciated facelift for the lobby.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I'm really excited to see everyone stand up against each other in the beginning of the match now.
Yeah, and it's a great place to show off your skins and see what the enemy is going to be using and all of that. Um, I'm personally looking forward to the day when we get to add new stances for the lobby, where your character will be able to, strike different poses. Maybe someday we can add an emote wheel or something, so you can taunt the enemy team. I think that would be fun. A lot of things we can eventually do here with the lobby.
Cool, cool.
Here is that before mentioned crow helmet. So this is a new cosmetic that will be available in the shop. This is kind of a blurry picture I took while I was setting it up. So if you want to check out what it looks like in game once the update comes out, you can check it out. It's got the first instance of cloth physics on a helmet in REVN, so that makes it kind of unique, which is pretty cool. You've got kind of like a veil in the front, and there's also like a tassel thing on the back of the helmet. So I'm pretty excited to see this in game. I think it looks really, really cool. The art team did an amazing job with this character concept.
I actually really like the visor on that helmet. It kind of reminds me of like the Eye of Horus, where it's
Yeah.
kind of like some Egyptian mythology callback. I
Hmm.
think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There is also a full armor set that comes with this helmet. That is not going to be available yet in game. It needs a little bit more polish before it's ready. Mainly just in the animation side of things, making sure that we get all of the cloth configured correctly is just taking a little bit longer. But the helmet was ready, so we wanted to release that so you guys can start playing with it if you'd like to. Um, and then for gameplay, we've got the burst rifle that is coming out on Monday. So the burst rifle has been my favorite gun in the game in the past during the alpha. Uh, I really liked using it as sort of a medium range precision weapon. Pretty good DPS, high accuracy, just all around like a good weapon. Kind of in a similar way to the way that the assault rifle is like an all around versatile, fully automatic weapon. I feel like the burst rifle is kind of like that same role, but semi automatic.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite have like the close range um like burst of damage that a shotgun would have, or on the automatic side of things, you're talking about like assault rifle versus carbine. And then at long ranges, your sniper rifle is still going to outperform a burst rifle. Um, in the same way that, well, we don't really have like any LMGs or like really long range fully auto weapons yet, but we'd like to have some eventually. So you can kind of eventually expect that to be something that you can kind of play around with, like are you playing long range? Are you playing short range? Are you full auto or going for more of like a precision semi auto weapon? I think that's just going to be really fun as a player to explore all of those different possibilities with like at what engagement range does your character play, which then
For
affects
sure.
which is then going to affect, like how are you team fighting, how are you positioning for like boss fights or laning and all of that kind of thing.
Hmm. Yep, pretty excited for this weapon to be added to the game. I think it'll be good for the assault rifle to kind of have like a competitor in the multi-tool class of weapon.
Yeah, because like that's been like the big feedback on um assault rifles. Like this gun is good everywhere. Why would I choose anything else? Well,
Hmm.
there's the reason is that's exactly as intended. You choose the assault rifle
Right.
if you want to be versatile, useful in any situation, and then you can kind of specialize if you're finding yourself always engaging at close range. You go carbine or shotgun, always
Exactly. Or if
engaging
you're
a lot.
trying to like build for a specific gun, like the sniper and the crit build, for example, where like
Right,
you are like building with a specific goal in mind. I think that adding more generally viable weapons that don't have like high build costs to them is good. Because like you said, the assault rifle is kind of like king of balance right now.
right.
Um, so like adding another kind of balanced archetype into the game should give it some competition.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
I'm personally very curious to see where the halberd, where the burst rifle lands with builds. Like I don't know if it's going to be a crit item build or you go full damage or like
yeah, I
how
mean,
effective everything's going to be on it. I
I'm
I have no
I'd
idea.
imagine based off of the stats that I've seen thus far and like how the gun seems to function, I'd imagine that it's gonna hold a similar position to the assault rifle where you can kind of take it in a lot of different directions.
Hmm.
And I think that's a good thing to have that like it is the versatile option, right? Like you can build full damage with it if you want, but you don't have to.
Right.
Like in the case of a sniper or a shotgun.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of its strengths for sure. So very excited to get to play with this next week. Just take a quick look
Super
at
cool.
Twitch chat. Major A is here, letting us know that dual pistols hurt a lot. Uh, so maybe we could take a quick break from the slides to actually talk about what our plans are for the dual wield ability because we were just talking about it before the stream.
Yeah, so we're pretty well aware that the dual wield is maybe, just a little bit overtuned, un poco. Um, so we're gonna be looking at probably reducing in some form the amount of damage you're able to output while dual wielding. Um,
Yeah, and we're
with
looking at that
the
as like a damage debuff multiplier like per shot. So, for example, with the Rook revolver, I think it's I'm kind of making up numbers here because I don't remember off the top of my head, but let's say it's 200 damage uh, per shot normally. And when you dual wield, you are effectively doubling your rate of fire, which means you're doubling your damage per second, which is a huge, huge, huge buff. So what we're going to be looking at doing is adding some sort of debuff to your per shot damage. Let's just say theoretically that debuff was 50, let's say 25%, right? So each of your shots is now doing 25% less damage. So you're doing 150 damage per shot instead of 200. But if you're able to still fire twice as fast, you're now outputting let's say 300, 150 plus 150. So you're doing 300 damage per second instead of 200. You're still getting a 50% damage bonus, but it's not as huge as a 100% damage bonus if you were doubling your rate of fire and keeping your damage per shot the same. So this may lead to some interesting interactions where you have like dual wield increases your overall DPS, but because each individual shot is a little bit weaker, you might be looking at trying to apply more of your damage in like fast bursts or against like weakened targets where you can finish them off and that kind of thing. And I think that's going to be ultimately good for the ability to have more of a specialized role rather than just do lots of damage right now. Um, So that is kind of where we're going with dual wield. That change is not going to be in next week's patch, or sorry, this upcoming patch, which is patch 15.4. But it will likely be in the patch after that, which is patch 15.5. So we're going to have another week to sort of test out dual wield, push it to its limits, find out how strong it is, and then hit it with that nerf.
Yep. All right. Speaking of buffs and nerfs, we're going to be going over this week's stat changes now. The Rogue Shotgun and Rook Revolver are now tagged as full auto and can be full auto fired, but the Rook rate of fire was reduced by 50%. Um, so this basically just means you can hold left mouse button, shoot them full auto.
Yeah,
Mostly just a quality of life thing, and the Rook rate of fire change is about an actual balance change oriented
yeah.
towards maybe reducing some of the power of it in that dual wield
Yeah,
setup.
especially in the dual wield plus the new full auto change. This is something that Kyle's been pushing for really a lot in the last few weeks. Has been like, can we make it so that the pistol can be fired faster? And when we turned on the full auto mode, doing air quotes here, with the old rate of fire, it was super deadly. Like you could kill people in, I don't know if it was like 1 second flat or something. That was even with just um just one pistol or something. It was crazy. So we lowered the rate of fire on it, but we're giving it this full auto mode, so you can actually just get more of your shots off faster because it was so fast before that you couldn't really humanly possibly click at the right speed.
Hmm.
And this just kind of streamlines the weapon. It's a little bit easier to use, get its full DPS out. Um, and I think it's going to be a lot more fun to now dual wield the rooks, double pistols. It's going to be a lot of fun now. Um,
Right on.
Heat Ray is getting a bit of a nerf. Uh, Major A in the Twitch chat said we could keep dual wielding exactly as it is and just bring back the old OP Heat Ray build. We're doing the opposite of that. We're nerfing Heat Ray a little bit in this patch. The AP scaling is losing 10%. Heat Ray is still a really, really good ability. And mainly its main source of damage is that on hit damage that scales off of AP. And at a certain point, it just becomes absolutely dominating. So we're trying to slow that down a little bit. We will be bringing back freeze ray soon as well with a new stacking mechanic where you'll hit somebody and then over time you'll apply stacks that slow them rather than instantly slowing them. Um, and we may look at doing something similar for Heat Ray. I don't think this is really confirmed yet, but we've been talking about it a little bit internally, so that Heat Ray would also have some sort of stacking damage. Like you would hit them and layer on stacks that build up to a certain amount of damage, which would encourage players to, I suppose, like laser in on a specific target rather than sweeping across the battlefield, and it just kind of ramps up your damage over time instead of being an instant laser of death.
Right on. Um, Otherwise, a, a big change coming to Angel in this week. Because of the buffs that we've been making to super minions and steadily improving the value of the angel buff, we also wanted to make it more competitive to take the angel boss. Seen a lot of builds that have really high sustain be able to 1v1 it at some point, and we'd like to shift towards a direction where it's kind of a priority objective for players looking to close out games a little faster. Um, so by buffing it and making it harder to kill, we are able to incentivize players to utilize teamwork in order to take down this boss at an earlier stage in the game and get more value out of those super minions earlier on in the match.
Yeah, we definitely want Angel to be a high priority boss objective, and it really has become one. Recent playtests this week, I know you weren't able to be there, Alistair, but on Wednesday we had I think it was like 3 or 4 games in a row, and in every single one of those games, the bosses were super high priority for both teams, and I was lucky enough to be on a team that I think we took Hunter first, and then we like stacked Angel 3 times in a row after that, and we just won purely because of all the pressure that super minions exert on the map. Um, and I actually think that that is like a really strong strategy for the game. I think that that is a good direction for the game to be moving in and for teams to be converging on the map whenever these bosses spawn. You know, it encourages team fights. It brings all the players together. It gives a sense of urgency. You know, we need to get there and stop them, or we need to be the first people there to secure the objective. Um,
Right.
we saw a lot of vision control in REVN, which is kind of a new thing to see teams pulling out, where you're having. We actually had like a priority within my team of one player sort of like taking a scout position of like getting onto a vantage point with a sniper rifle to land a few shots on the boss, but mostly just keep an eye out for the enemy team coming in to try to contest the objective so that we would know like when to save our CC abilities and stop spamming them on the boss and switch to saving them for when the enemy rounds the corner. Um, and like that interaction was really cool. I think that we should see more of that as Angel continues to be an important objective. So the changes we're making this week to Angel are really just about making it more important for your entire team to be there when you take the boss. We're increasing its base health by about I forget what the percentage is. It's like 30% or something. I think it's going from 20,000 to the 32,000 you see there. Maybe it's like a 50% buff. It's a pretty big health buff, which means it's just going to take longer to kill the boss, which either means it's going to have more time to do damage to you if you're trying to solo it and you don't have enough sustain abilities and you can't tank it, or it's just going to take longer for your team to bring down the boss together, which gives the enemy team a little bit extra time to respond and come in and try and contest the objective, which is always a good moment for team fights to really shine in REVN. So
Yeah.
that's the base health buff there, and then the damage is going up and the rate of fire is going up to try and bring its damage per second more in line with what Hunter has. The other boss, the Hunter boss has, I think, like 80 damage per shot and a rate of fire of I want to say 500. It comes out to I believe 20,000 damage per minute because its rate of fire is rounds per minute. So Hunter's baseline damage is 20,000 per minute. So Angel was quite a bit lower than that. These buffs are going to bring that to the same level of damage per minute, but it's actually in slower, chunkier bursts. So Hunter has like a fast firing assault rifle type weapon. Angel's got more of a thud, thud, thud of damage. But each individual attack does more damage than Hunter's individual attacks. But now their like overall damage over time is going to be very similar.
All right. Well,
Um,
uh,
but speaking
finally
of
this week.
fixing things, yeah, some bug fixes. Aiming, swapping weapons. There was some weird stuff where you could like switch weapons and then like aim and then switch weapons again, and you got this like weird. We called it Quake mode. Uh, you could like use your shotgun while iron sight first person aiming. Um, and Cobber had a great clip on his Twitch channel. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Um, and then we also fixed an interaction between invisibility and assassin edge. So you would go invisible, but the like visual effects from assassin edge, where your hands are like glowing, would still be visible. So you would just have like glowing hands floating around. So we've got that fixed as well. All right, so I'm gonna pull up Cobber's stream here real quick after we get through this ad for Lost Ark. Uh, They have ads on Twitch clips. That's kind of cringe. I feel like clips shouldn't have ads.
To be fair, Lost Ark is published by Amazon Games, and Twitch is owned by Amazon, so I think they can just advertise wherever the hell they want.
Maybe you're right. Uh, okay, let me see if I put this here. There we go. We're gonna just take a quick look at Cobber's stream.
Satchel charge or something like that? Wait, what? Satchel charge. Essentially, you toss it somewhere, it stays there until you press the button again, then it detonates.
Oh, that's interesting. Uh, so, I will. Alright, it's just stuck with probably until I switch my weapon. Yeah. So I was scoped in with the sniper, and I'll have to
Fun
do
bug.
that after this. And then I swapped.
Here we go. It's even. This is like the ultimate Doom.
I switched to my
mode.
secondary, and it kind of broke my view. Oh, now I'm playing Quake.
Oh man, that's
My
so
secondary shotgun
disorienting.
is aimed down the center. But the first time I had a scope.
You can even like sprint and dodge roll and stuff while you're in this mode. It's great. Yeah, so we got that fixed. Very entertaining bug. There's a few other bugs that are kind of similar to that are like weird interactions between weapons, aiming, swapping weapons. We're getting a few of those fixed in this patch as well. But I think that's kind of it for this patch. Thank you guys so much for everything you do to support us. We have this update rolling out on Monday, and then we're going to have the playtest on Tuesday at noon or 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as the Wednesday playtest at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the evening. We also have a survey going on right now. So if you head over to our Discord server and you go into the announcements channel, there is a link where we are taking a quick survey on REVN's art. So we want to hear what your favorite character skin is, what your favorite weapon is, what you like about the map's environment art, what you'd like to see added to the game, and also what your kind of least favorite character skins are, ones that you feel aren't up to the level of polish that you would like to see in the game, or ones that just don't really seem to resonate with you. We just want to hear what you think about all of the art in general so that we can improve it and make it better. If you do fill out the survey, we've got a promo code that we will send you when the survey ends for 500 in-game credits. So we'd really appreciate that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.
See you, everybody.
Had to rep the REVN t-shirt today with the helmets on it.
Mm.